can't lack. We got plenty guns, and you better run. Dodger hollows, that shit won't be fun. They know Lil Laser smoke on Zaza. I can't do no 4 feet. They think Lil Laser finna pop, now everybody know me. Pussy say he got smoke with Lil Fast. We got more shit than police.
I seen
After
LeBron
years
on here,
of
so I'm
judging,
guessing he talking about that GOAT debate. Yeah, that's true. Pass the ball, I'll go to the moon. Yeah, that's true.
critiquing, hating on some of your hot takes. Today, I'm gonna share some of mine. It is only fair, after all, that if I put other... Today, I'm gonna share some of mine. It is only...
What the fuck? Sometimes I get happy when players get injured. Somebody need to find that nigga and lock him up. Who the fuck said some shit like that? That's some hating ass dick around shit.
fair, after all, that if I put others' opinions up...
Steph isn't actually that good. He just perfected a skill that the NBA... Fuck, I sound fucking retarded. I can read. Steph isn't actually that good. He just perfected a skill that the NBA never... Shit. Steph isn't actually that good. He just perfected a skill that the NBA had never seen before and utilized more often than ever before. I find a nigga that said this and the 67 people that agree with him, I'ma smack the shit out of him. Steph is an all-time great, top 3 player of all time.
Up for debate, contention.
52-year-old Michael Jordan would easily beat prime LeBron James in a 1v1 Skip Bayless head. Yeah. See, he's a Harry Osborn looking ass nigga, so you can't believe nothing he say. You know, y'all know in Spider-Man 3, Harry Osborn, the Green Goblin, he lied about everything he said. Everything he said was a lie.
Ridicule, that I do the same for myself. Because like you, I too am just a guy who has that I do the same for myself. Because like you...
Nick Adams, cancel him. John Stockton is a better player than LeBron James, D-Wade, and Steph Curry. It must have been April Fool's when he posted that.
I too am just a guy who has a few takes and opinions that I wouldn't dare say out loud in fear of having my ball knowledge put into question. But today, I'm gonna do just that. So here are my NBA hot takes.
Steph Curry just make me smile, man.
Today's video is sponsored your win or more.
Man, nobody asked for all that shit. I just lost 4 parlays.
Subjective and completely false, but I usually try to stay as objective and non-biased as I can. Do my research, refer to film, gather consensus when necessary. But in this video, I'm doing none of that, and instead sharing with y'all 5 of my NBA hot takes. All right, so my first hot take is kind of hard to admit. I almost don't even want to say it out loud, but I'm going to. Okay. Tim Duncan has become overrated. Now, before you bring out the torches, hear me out. When Tim Duncan was...
When I start hearing niggas say he a better scorer than KD, and he a better player than LeBron, yeah, you could say he overrated.
Playing, there were maybe a few seasons throughout his 19-year career where he was considered the best player in the world. No one ever thought he was better than Shaq in his prime. Many fans at the time argued that KG had a higher peak than him, although I would disagree with this. And in the moment, for a good decade or so, you would be in the minority if you thought Tim Duncan was a better basketball player than Kobe Bryant. By the time Duncan retired, he was very underrated. Most fans had him somewhere around 15th, maybe just outside the top 10 greatest players of all.
That's crazy, I ain't gonna lie. That's crazy.
All time.
I can't really speak on these niggas. I only know these niggas really stat-wise and seen them play on my team.
But miraculously, over the past 5 years or so, Timmy has creeped from 15th to 13th to top 10 to where he probably should be, somewhere around 7, to now all the way within people's top 5, even top 3 players ever.
See, whoever made this list is automatically a dickhead, because why is Kobe under Magic Johnson?
And this isn't just a small community of Tim Duncan advocates pushing this propaganda. I'm seeing
why
Duncan
is Shaq under Larry Bird. Why is Shaq under...
This isn't just a small community of Tim Duncan advocates pushing this propaganda. I'm seeing Duncan floating anywhere from top 5 to top 3 all time for a lot of fans these days. Even people claiming he may just be the greatest basketball player of all time. Guys, Tim Duncan was incredible, the best power forward of all time. He is not one of the 5 greatest players ever, let alone the GOAT. And I think what's probably happening here is younger or maybe newer fans of the NBA are looking at his accolades and accomplishments and comparing them side by side to other greats and saying, wow, this guy really did a lot and his resume is better than just about anyone ever. But if you watched Duncan's career unfold in real time, you would have felt the impact he had on the league and on the Spurs, but you would have also felt the massive role that the Spurs system and Popovich's coaching excellence played on Duncan. He was unbelievably consistent. He was a defensive juggernaut. He was a leader. But Duncan was also the beneficiary of the most competent organization in the league that prioritized team ball and continuity. From Hall of Fame teammates he played with for the majority of his career to all-time greats that played big roles in helping the Spurs win championships, Duncan was always surrounded by winning culture and winning teammates. This is by no means a knock on him. In fact, he was a big reason why the Spurs were so cohesive.
He dick around Kobe.
This is by no means a knock on him. In fact,
Why he got the trophy on his face like Kobe?
he was a big reason why the Spurs were so cohesive. But only in retrospect would you look at his laundry list of accomplishments and neglect all of the details that came with it. For many years, the Spurs as a team and organization were seen as this staple of excellence more than Tim Duncan was as an individual. It wasn't Duncan and the Spurs. It was just the Spurs. They were one and the same, not this pretty good team with a fantastically great player on it. But if you just look at his resume, you wouldn't know that. You could argue Duncan had maybe a top 3 career in NBA history, but as a player, he's just not on the same tier as Jordan or LeBron or Kareem. I don't know how after he retired, he has slowly crept past Shaq and Bird and Russell and even Magic for some people. Duncan is one of my all-time favorite players, but he is not a top 5 player in NBA history. And it's odd to see a player who was so underrated for so many years become slightly overrated today. Now, I'd like to think of myself as sort of a board member, an executive within the organization of LeBron fans and Glazers. So this next take pains me to say, but LeBron has sabotaged many good situations throughout his time in the NBA, and his career as a whole has suffered because of it. We all know that LeBron has been held back by some bad front offices, selfish teammates, terrible roster constructions. But what doesn't get talked about enough is how he has gone out of his way to try to make good situations better and has inadvertently ended up just ruining things for himself in the process. Like in 2014, when he decided to sign with the Cavs instead of staying with the Heat. Why did he do that? Well, we all know why. The Heat were getting old, Wade was past his prime, and the Cavaliers had the cap space and a budding young star in Kyrie Irving to help reel Bron back to Cleveland. This decision
He want a chip. What the fuck? What you mean?
eventually led to a championship, but what if he just stayed with the Heat? With Pat Riley and Spoelstra, where there's culture and accountability. I imagine his career would have played out even better considering where the Heat are today.
Fuck no. He wouldn't have been there that long. Nigga, he went to the Heat, then he went back. No, he went to the Cavs, then he went to the Lakers. He wouldn't have been in the Heat that long.
Or what about when the Cavs went to back-to-back finals in 2016 and 2017, but since LeBron didn't feel they had enough to win it all, he orchestrated an entire implosion of their roster, which ended up being vastly worse, and then just left them again once things were beyond repair.
He did do that. I ain't gonna lie, he did do that whole ass shit. That was wild, I ain't gonna lie. He switched up their whole roster with his pool and said, damn. Fuck it. I'm gone now. I ain't playing.
Or most recently, when the Lakers won a championship in 2020, and instead of reloading with the same roster, the Lakers returned with a whole new team just 2 seasons later. These decisions do not happen without LeBron's okay. Throughout his career, he has been so quick to want more, want something better, and he can't wait around for it to happen organically, so he tries to force these things to happen. And when it doesn't work out, which it hasn't worked out a lot, the organization, the coaching staff, and even his own teammates end up taking the fall. As great as he is, LeBron has tried to play GM way too often in his career. And when he can't, or he's out of...
He got good ideas. He just don't... He just shouldn't have the okay, and that's it. Like, I get he the GOAT, but that's some, yeah, Can't give him everything you want. He been fucking up.
Options, he just moves on to the next new shiny thing. If he just stayed with the Heat, or stayed with the Cavs, or allowed rosters to build chemistry and young players to develop naturally over time, I think his career and the perception of it would probably be better right now. LeBron has willed his way to some of the greatest feats the sport has ever seen, but he has also sabotaged.
LeBron the GOAT, he just dropped 40 tonight. He the GOAT. You can't say he the GOAT. You can't say none. He the GOAT.
A lot of good things along the way. Now, here's a hot take for you, and I don't care if I'm wrong. The corner three is not the easiest three-point shot.
It's not. It's not. The corner three is hard as fuck. For me personally, I think top of the key. Honestly, I'll say the wing shot, the right wing shot for right-handed players is the easiest shot you can get.
For years, everyone has said the corner three is easier than any three-pointer, and so there's an advantage to be had there if you use them right. I
it's the shortest distance,
wholeheartedly
right?
disagree. In the NBA, sure, the corner three is shorter than on the wing or at the top of the key, but if you play ball, you know this shot is as scuffed as it gets. When you're looking at the hoop straight on, you just have a wider margin of error. You can shoot long and bank it in. You have a better perception of depth since you're looking at the backboard. It may just be psychological, but whatever it is, you cannot convince me that this shot is easier than this shot. According to NBA.com, this season, the league as a whole is shooting 39% from corner threes, whereas above the break, teams are shooting 36.1% on average. Now, that's a substantial difference in efficiency from these two different shooting zones, and it would lead you to believe the corner three is easier. But I think shooting percentage is higher on corner threes than threes above the break for two reasons. One, the best shooters in the league, the guys who are on NBA rosters to drill a few threes a game, usually spend the most time in the corner. And since most players who set up shop in the corner are sharpshooters, the overall efficiency from corner threes is boosted compared to on the wing or at the top of the key. And reason number two, a lot of threes taken above the break are pulled up off of dribbles, players flying off of screens trying to square up and get a good shot off. And many times, the players attempting these kinds of threes are the best.
Nah, that's a crazy shot right there by Russ.
Up and get a good shot off. And many times, the players
that's a crazy shot.
Attempting these kinds of threes are the best player on their team, but
Jokic.
Not the best shooters.
Jokic do anything on the fucking floor. What the fuck did he just
Attempting
do?
these kinds of threes are the best player
This
on
nigga did a pump fake,
their team,
spin move, put the ball down once, picked
but
it back
not
up,
the
and
best
just did a step back, one-legged, shot that bitch.
as shooters. On the
And
other
bank that
hand,
motherfucker,
corner
too.
threes are almost exclusively set shots coming off of passes to a wide open man. The very nature of offenses in the NBA makes these corner threes easier than any other threes because plays are often drawn up to get open looks from here from the best shooters in the world.
Did he throw that motherfucker through LeBron legs?
Because plays are often drawn up to get open looks from here from the best
He threw that motherfucker through LeBron legs.
shooters in the world, shooting set shots with no one
Nah, that's a crazy pass. But he got a great point here. He got a great point here.
contesting. Corner threes.
This might not be as much as a hot take. These aren't really hot takes. These are good takes. I ain't gonna lie. These are good takes.
Especially those real deep ones where you feel like you're behind the backboard, are not easier than any other three-pointer. Now, I know I'm going to catch some flack for this next take, and that's okay. Because in a redraft of every player in NBA history just after their rookie season, I would pick Victor Wembanyama first overall. You might
Yeah, we're done with this video. What the fuck is he talking about? Victor Wembanyama is not even that fucking good. Trash ass, tall, lanky ass nigga. Madagascar built ass nigga.
I'd say this is just recency bias. You may think I'm crazy, and you're probably right. But Wemby would be my first pick. His progression, his poise, his confidence, his skill set, his potential. If you look,
He's dig riding. 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 Can I skip a little bit?
think Wemby would go first overall. At least for me, he would. By the time these other players came into the league, they were already relatively polished. Jordan was still pretty raw, and LeBron was playing off of sheer athleticism. But Wemby is having one of the greatest rookie seasons ever, and just by watching him, you can tell he's still just learning how to play in the NBA. So not only is he already in
He's fucking taller than everybody. Look what he's doing.
Incredible.
He's just jumping. And he's not even jumping that high. That's the whole kill. And look who he's blocking, bro. I don't even know who that is, bro. That's a one-day contract player. That's why he got number 1 on his shirt. The fuck, bro?
He's just barely scratching the surface of his potential. Now, can this take come back to bite me in the ass? It sure can, but I don't care. If I could choose any player in NBA...
Wow, he did a rim grazer on Damian Lillard, and he's, what, 7'1"? Like, wow. Hey, Siri, how tall is Victor Wembanyama?
Webb is one of the shortest players in NBA history at 5 feet, 7 inches. This answer is from reference.
Hey Siri. Hey Siri. How tall is Victor Wembanyama?
Victor Wembanyama is 7 feet 4 inches.
History based off of their
bro.
rookie
The fuck?
season and their potential and trajectory. I'm picking Victor Wembanyama. Now, I don't know if this last take is even a hot one anymore, but it needs to be said. The 2017 Warriors are by far the best NBA team ever.
Yeah, that's KD and them, right?
Warriors are by far
That's KD and Curry and them, right? Yeah, that's
the best NBA team ever. Not just the best team assembled, not the best team on paper. They are, by a pretty wide margin, the best, most cohesive team in NBA history. Over the years, people will argue that the 96 Bulls were better, or the 2000 Lakers, or if they're really out of their mind, they'll say the 86 Celtics. But no, the 2017 Warriors would dog walk any team you put in front of them.
The only team I'll say is the 2000 Lakers, because the 2000 Lakers, Shaq and Kobe already proved that he could guard Curry. The thing is, who gonna guard KD and who gonna guard Clay? But then you got on the other side, who gonna guard Curry? I mean, who gonna guard Kobe and who gonna guard Shaq? Shaq gonna put up 60. Shaq gonna put up 60 if he go against them.
They were so good
but it's
that
like,
it pissed
is there 60 all twos better than Curry and Clay and KD at the 3?
people off. They were so good that everyone unanimously agreed that it wasn't even fair. It's been long enough now that the painful hopelessness that this team inflicted upon NBA fans around the world has subsided. But I'm sure we can all still remember just how overwhelming this team was. They made really good teams look incompetent.
I mean, them niggas was really all in their prime. Like, them niggas was all, like, still in their prime. Like, that shit is crazy.
I mean, they had everything. Arguably the greatest player in the world at the time, the greatest shooter ever at the peak of his powers, the most versatile defender in the league, arguably the second greatest shooter ever, and somehow still managed to have a very solid, well-rounded bench. And not only did they have the most talent, but all of that talent worked really well together. All of their skill sets and intentions meshed about as well as a team could. So not only were they the most loaded team in NBA history, they all bought in, and they all just wanted to win. So I not only think they're the best team ever, I don't even think it's close. Pick any other team to go against them, specifically the 2017 version of the Warriors, and the opposing team would be lucky to sneak 1, maybe 2 wins in a 7-game series. And those are 5 of my NBA hot takes. Hopefully,
he had one bad take, and that was the Victor drink.
Jam, we're gonna do that time with each other. What's up with me, nigga? I crack at your mouth. Got so many sticks, we got drinks in the cup.